Morning guys, how are we doing? Hope you're good. Halfway through the week, cracking on. So before we start, if you are on audio and listening to this on the podcast, please can you do me a favour? Please could you get on there and just stick a review on me? I had a look the other day and we are 126 on the self-help charts, and it will be amazing to get in the top sort of 30 or 20. And the more reviews you get, the more pump you go up. So it will be amazing if we, and I say we because we're all in it together, the more higher it goes up, the more people get to see it, the more people get some value from the stuff that I'm talking about. So I appreciate it. It would only take 5 minutes. It won't even take 5 minutes, probably take a minute. And if you're listening on Facebook, there's a little review thing where you put some stars, and if you could just spend 60 seconds sticking up something about if ever I've offered you any value at all, that'd be amazing. That'd be awesome. And also, if you're interested in coaching with me, we've got a 12-week offer on the Brotherhood. It's like £8 a week, £8 a week, and you get everything. So, but it's all on the link down below. Right, listen, let's get into this. So we're going to talk about only playing with the cards that you're dealt. And I'm just marking where my dog's had a great big shit halfway through a live feed. So I want to talk about only playing with the hand that you're dealt. So if you think about you playing poker or pontoon or Jim Rummy, okay, most of it is luck, right? Whether you win, I think obviously with strategy and bluffing people and all that, but you can only play with those cards that are in front of you. You can't really do anything else. You can't look at anyone else's cards and play with their cards. Okay, you can't wish that you had other cards. You can only deal with what's right in front of you. So if we put that into context terms for you in your life, you can only move forwards with where you are right now. You can't go anywhere. You can't go and live someone else's life. You can't wish that you had made a better decision in the past. You can only play with what you've got in front of you. So if you are unfit, I'm going to leave this here a minute because I'm fucking blowing out. If you are unfit or overweight, okay, there's nothing you can do about that right now. Okay, but the way that you go about playing the next hand, okay, or the way that you go about bluffing, or the way that you go about winning a card game is by what you do next. Okay, and unlike a card game, you have the opportunity to make a positive decision where you can win, where it's not a game of luck and you're looking for the card. So if you're not in a really good place right now, and if you're stuck in a rut right now, okay, there's nothing you can do about that. That's where you are. They're the cards that you have. But what you can do is start thinking about how you can maybe change the game. Now, how can you do that? So you can look at this aspect, and I talk about this in my book, the 4 models. And I think these 4 points cover life in general. So, health. So, in terms of health, are you making excuses? Are you making excuses not to exercise? Okay, could you do more? Could you factor in more time to train and concentrate on yourself? Could you, I think the thing that people get caught up with is that they have to go to the gym and do a whole hour session where they're putting all of the working, and it has to be hurting and it has to be a big blowout, when really all that you need to do, and remember, putting things into perspective, you're a dad, you've got a mortgage, you've got kids, you've got responsibilities, you've got a wife to look after, you've got friends to try and deal with, you've got a high pressure job. You're not trying to be stage fit. You're trying to be a fit dad. You're trying to be a dad that is going to have energy to play with their kids, has the energy to cope with life. Morning Esther, how's it going? So you're trying to make sure that you are fit, that when you take your top off by next to the swimming pool, you feel comfortable. That's what we're trying to achieve. And the end goal of where you want to look good, and let's forget about the fucking 6-packs, okay? Do you know how hard it is to get a 6-pack? It's fucking insane. And the discipline that you have to show is immense, all right? But if we had a flat tummy, if we didn't have dad moves, if we looked pretty good, felt good inside, and just felt strong, stable, and healthy, that's the win, right? That's what we're looking for as dads. So, this is not going to work here because we're right next to a road, so I'm going to move over this way. You know, when we think, put into perspective, if you're not doing anything right now, if you're a busy guy, or you're just a lazy fuckwit, or you're just not into it right now, or you're just not prioritizing yourself, if you started for 4 weeks doing 10 minutes of exercise, if you went for a power walk in the morning for 10 minutes, if you went for a swim for 20 minutes, if you did some stretching and mobility in the morning for 15 minutes, that is a start, okay? That's where you start. And what happens is that you start to go, oh, wait a minute, I quite enjoy this. I'd love to do some more. So, you know what? Instead of getting up at 6 o'clock, I'm going to get up at 5:45. And now I've got 30 minutes where I can do some form of exercise. Bang. You then do some form of exercise. Or if you decide you get home at 5:30 or 6:30, well, fuck it. 9 o'clock at night, you might decide you want to do half an hour and then. But what you have to decide is, and what you have to deal with, is the fact that you got to go straight into it. Because if you get home, you sit on the sofa, I'll get on with it in a minute, it's gone. You know, that impetus is gone. That motivation is just that split second. So you've got to get straight into it and go straight into it full on, all right? So stop trying to think that you have to absolutely smash every single workout. It's got to be an hour workout down a gym. It's got to be full on. Start with 10 minutes. Fuck me. Do something to start being active. Don't keep saying tomorrow. Don't keep saying later. Don't keep saying I don't have time. Okay? You know, some people use that as their excuse. This is what I'm talking about. Playing with the cards that you're dealt with, you know. I work with a guy called Mark who worked in London. And he was full on. He used to travel 3 hours or 2 hours to London every day, 2 hours and back to London. But we managed to squeeze time in and make time for his fitness, for his well-being. He used to do a lot of his morning routine on the train. So there's always a way. You've just got to open up the vision for it and want it. If you don't want it, don't fucking bother. I wouldn't even bother watching anymore. Or listening to anymore. So there's always a way, okay? The cards that you're dealt, you have to look at that and go, okay, well, how can I win this? How can I still win? If it's a shit hand, okay, if you're getting back late, if things are not going great, if you're under pressure, how can we turn that around? Okay, so that's health, business-wise, work-wise. Look, if you don't work, you're not going to pay the bills. And I'm not going to be one of those people that turn around, oh, do something you love, you know, because the likelihood is if you quit your job and go and do something you love, you're going to be bankrupt. So you have to accept the job that you and the environment and the position you're in right now. That's the way it is. But what you can do is control your emotions and control your work day so that you feel better at work, more in control at work, more in control of your habits, your routines, your structures. You can have better planning. If you run your own business, you can get your time management better so that you spend some time for yourself, understand your priorities. I used to work 18 hours a day. I used to think getting up at 5 in the morning, working right through to sort of fucking 8 at night, not doing health, not spending time with family was the way forward. That's the way that I had to build my business. And it's quite the opposite, you know. The business comes second. My time is my currency. I'm not here forever. We're all gonna fucking die. And every single day we get a little bit closer to that. And I don't want to miss a second watching my little ones grow up. Because when my oldest two are older, okay, that's it, they're gone. Fucking babies, living their own life. So I want to make the most of this now. And then I'll build up my business when I'm older. I'm doing it now, but, you know, but things are more important than the business right now, you know. And that's the kind of mentality you have to have. Work is one of those places you have to go, you have to do it, you have to work. You can't get fucking away from it. So when it comes to playing with the hand that you have, look at it, make the best of it, make the best of a bad situation, be in control, because if this is in the right place, guess what? Everything else is going to sort of be in control. You're going to feel better about everything that's happening. You know, if you understand how gratitude works, you're going to be grateful to come home to your family at the end of the day. So in terms of like business and work, kind of look at it, how could you make it better? Don't be negative about it, don't sulk about it. You know, it is what it is. If you can find a better job, then fucking dig out. You know, if you want to start your own business, then do it. But don't put yourself in a position that's going to, you know, completely cripple you and your family by making you broke. Okay, so kind of relationships. Now, how can we put this? So if you're looking at playing with the cards that you're dealt, you know, sometimes I think we give up on relationships too easily. I can talk from experience. I think that if something's not working, and I know for a lot of guys that I've spoken to, relationships are breaking down, but they're breaking down because the guy is so fucking messed up inside. They're stuck in that rut, and because they're so self-consumed, they're forgetting everybody else that's around them. Never forget your number one priority, which is your family. Okay, never forget that. And I understand that relationships end, you know, I understand that they fall apart, but never give up on it, okay? And that's really important. Make as much effort as you possibly can, even when you don't feel like it, even if you feel that you are not the one in the wrong. You know, I think relationships, your family relationship is the most important thing in your life right now. The relationship with your kids is the most important one. And if you're not close to them, then get close to them. You know, reading bedtime stories, just spending that extra 10 or 15 minutes with them instead of being on the phone. You know, closing down the phone on the evening. So the transition from work to personal space, sticking the phone on airplane mode, sticking it in a drawer, it's done. We don't deal with work, we don't deal with phones. And I used to be a nightmare at this. It used to be a nightmare. I used to be on my phone, Dad, get off your phone, get off your phone. And I feel so guilty now for all of those times. But playing with the hand that you're dealt with, turn it around, you know. And now I have strict rules, you know, about working and being around the kids. Just can't do it. It's almost like it's against the law. And the kids wouldn't let me get away with it anyway. And then your personal development, guys. Now, personal development is about developing as a person, funnily enough. But how can you develop as a person? Okay, you know, you can read books. Fucking hell, I'm not a massive reader, but I nearly got through my first whole book on holiday, and I'm trying to find a routine. I still haven't weighed it off where I can read peacefully and kind of get my head into a book. Podcasts are a little bit more my thing. You know, podcasts are brilliant because if you're traveling to work by train, by bike, walking, or even in a car, you can listen to a podcast. Okay, audio is brilliant. And I think a lot of people have been asking me about the audio book, which, you know, I am hoping to get it done this year because people respond better to listening. That's why I started doing these live feeds into audio, so people can listen in. They might not get the opportunity to sit there with their phone listening in. So in terms of playing with the hand that you're dealt, you know, if you haven't done any personal development, if you're struggling to get it into your routine, again, it's about just sort of sitting down and kind of going, okay, well, I want to learn a little bit more. I want to learn a little bit more about nutrition. I want to learn a little bit more about fitness and movement and mobility. Or you want to improve yourself with your mindset. So you might buy a mindset book. You know, I think many people bought my book, the self-help book, because it just kind of helps them become very aware of their situation, you know, and people develop through that. That's how I've developed as a person. You know, I kind of looked at myself and kind of went, I need to make some changes. So I kind of started reading, listening to podcasts, listening to other live feeds of people that I follow. And gradually over time, it starts creeping into your skin and your DNA, and it becomes second nature. And you can improve. And what you have to remember, it doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process. You know, I've been on a 2-year journey now of improving me as in self-development, personal development, get my time management weighed off, get my structure weighed off, get my videos better, getting the way I talk to be better. It's just a process that you keep developing. So summary. So when we look at playing with the cards that we're dealt, we have to look at the life that we have right now, but look at how we can make it better. Okay, so the next step, unlike cards, is in your control. You know, when you've got the cards that you've been dealt on poker, you can only play with those cards. You can only bluff and cuff for so long. I like that, bluff and cuff, for so long in your life. You can only cuff it for so long. You can only cuff it, because remember my famous saying, how you live your life now would dictate the quality of your life in 10 to 15 years. So if you're cuffing it right now, if you're just scraping by, fucking surfing the waves as they come in, and you're not dealing with the problems that are there, or dealing with the hand that you've been dealt, in 10 years, it's gonna fucking hit you like a whirlwind, like a tidal wave. And you're gonna suddenly have this emotion called regret, which is a horrible emotion, which I carry an awful lot, which we, I'm sure, all carry an awful lot through our lives. But you have to take charge, you have to act, you have to be proactive, you have to be consistent, you have to be robust and keep overcoming adversity. You've got to be resilient. You've got to be on top of it, guys. All right? So lots to think about in that sort of live feed podcast today, so to speak. I think the biggest thing you can do is take action. But don't say you're going to take action and then fucking forget about it 24 hours later. I mean real action. I mean fucking sit down, write stuff down, think about what you're going to say or do. Think about how you're going to change your life. Break it down into those four quarters: business, health, personal development, relationships. How can you improve the hand that you've been dealt? How can you improve where you are now and move forwards? Right, guys, hope you have a great day. Don't forget the 3-month, 12-week offer we got going on. There's a link here somewhere. Get involved. There's limited places because obviously we don't want too many people in there too quickly. So make sure that you are on top of it. Make sure that you're getting in there. I can promise you the guys are on fire in that Brotherhood right now. Super focused. It's not just about fitness. It's about lifestyle. It's about making better decisions, getting structured, getting organised in life. So get yourself in there. Morning, Jane. Morning, Steve. Have a great day, guys.